Was Mars nuked? There's some pretty compelling evidence that Mars was nuked in the distant past. When the 2012 Curiosity rover was searching for life on Mars, it may have found some more depressing proof. It had found an abundance of xenon-129. Dr. John Brandenburg, who, let me give you his credits real quick. I'm reading this off of a website. He's a theoretical plasma physicist who was born in Rochester, Minnesota. He obtained his BA in physics, a mathematics minor from Southern Oregon University in 1975, obtained his MS in 1977, PhD in plasma physics, both from the University of California at Davis in 1981. He's presently working as a consultant at Morningstar Applied Physics, LLC, and a part-time instructor of astronomy, physics, and mathematics at Madison College and other learning institutions in Madison, Wisconsin. Before this, he worked at Orbital Technologies in Madison, Wisconsin as a senior propulsion scientist working on space plasma technologies, nuclear fusion, and advanced space propulsion. He's the principal inventor of the MET microwave electrothermal plasma thruster using water propellant for space propulsion. He previously worked on SDI, the Clementine mission to the moon, rocket plume regolith interactions on the moon and Mars, vortex theory of rocket engine design. He also performed an architecture study for human Mars mission using solar electric propulsion. There's more to this. Basically, here's some credible physicist that was hypothesizing that Mars had been nuked. There's this location in the northern hemisphere where the xenon-129 is just really high. Other hypothesis from this large radiation on the surface of Mars is that maybe there was a natural nuclear reactor that had happened. There was one on Earth 100 million years ago where water going over a uranium deposit created some fission, but there was still a big crater. There's no craters on Mars. The natural nuclear reactor hypothesis had the merit that it provided a known source for a large nuclear explosion that in turn explain the salient features of Mars isotopic anomalies with one or two events. However, deeper analysis, the xenon spectrum and the absence of large craters has shown this hypothesis inadequate. Therefore, we must consider other hypotheses that are more complex. One of them is that a nuclear explosion happened midair above the Mare Acadalium and Utopia Planum, but that their cause is anomalous. This could be called the anomalous explosion hypothesis. I'm reading from the Lunar and Planetary Science Conference of 2015, the 46th one. Ultimately, though, John Brandenburg predicted from the isotopic evidence that this explosion may have happened 300 million years ago and that it was above the surface. Now, on our show, Real Life Sci-Fi, we have a conversation about this. Our show is we have one believer, one skeptic, and a guest. We talk about what this is and what this could mean, and we get into some pretty crazy speculative sci-fi scenarios of how this could have happened. So if you want to hear some people that know nothing talking about what this could mean, you can find us anywhere you find podcasts, Real Life Sci-Fi. Yeah, pretty compelling information, finding signs of life. If there was any sort of nuclear explosion that happened, whether it be maybe they blew themselves up, maybe some other entity came and blew them up, or maybe there was some war, maybe the asteroid belt was somehow connected to this, a planet that instead of not forming actually was destroyed. Like, should we be looking at the radioactive isotopes in asteroid craters? Find us Real Life Sci-Fi. Yeah, one believer, one skeptic, and one guest.
Real Life Sci-Fi.